Welcome back to r/Bestof Redditor updates, where OP gets blackmailed for having an intimate moment. But first, this one is titled, "Roommate put a tracker on my car for surveillance." So I'm a 25-year-old female and my roommate is a 34-year-old male. I moved to a new town last year, only knew one person, stayed with her for a bit until I found a house to rent, but I needed a roommate. She introduced me to a guy she worked with who also needed a roommate because he just got a divorce. I met him first, didn't get weird vibes, seemed nice enough, and about 6 months ago he made this suggestion to be friends with benefits, and I made the stupid mistake of agreeing. We both did not want a relationship though. And by the way guys, if you hear explosions in the background, that's not because I'm in a war zone or something, but there's currently a festival here in Thailand called Loi Krathong where they fire fireworks and all kinds of other stuff. Anyway, everything was fine until he started getting weird and staying up until I got home, and then questioning me about where I had been and who I was around. I then ended the hooking up, told him I didn't think it was like that, and he got mad. Everything was fine for a bit until yesterday. I live in a pretty rural area where most businesses are small and family owned. Since not a lot of people are getting out, I decided to go ahead and get some new tires and support a mechanic shop I go to, since I doubt they're getting regular business at the moment. I'm there waiting when the guy comes over and tells me he wants to show me something. I'm like, okay. We go over to my car and he bends down and points under at a black box. He asks me if I know what that is and tells me it's a GPS. It took me a second to understand the implications of a GPS being under my car. I was like, so someone put it there? It's clear I have no idea why it's there, and he got actually concerned and told me if I didn't know, I needed to find out. I feel so creeped out because I have no friends here. The friend I knew moved away. I only know some people at work, but we are not friends, and it's been hard to meet people. There's no other way a GPS would be on my car unless my roommate put it there. And now I am freaked out in a way I've never been before, and I cannot move out. I'm scared to ask him about it. I have no one to stay with, no family here. What do I do? Do I just ask him about it outright? I left the GPS there because I don't want him to know that I know at the moment. What do I do? And yeah guys, let me know in the comments what you would suggest OP to do in this crazy situation. Honestly, first I would go to the police and ask them what's the best way of dealing with this probably. Anyway, someone in a comment said, that is really creepy. Start planning your exit, document everything. Another person said, I would be concerned that there are cameras in your bedroom and bathroom. Honestly, I would not feel safe to return home. I would immediately call police and file a report. There are devices you get from a spy store that can scan for the frequency of hidden cameras. But I would not even waste my time with that. My peace of mind would be worth a terminated lease and breaching contract, which a police report would help you in civil court should you have to go. Run, do not walk to the nearest exit. Another commenter said, be specific as to how you know, not what you think or believe, but what actual proof do you have that your roommate put the GPS on your car? What I read is that some guy found something on your car. OP said, it's a small magnetic tracking device. Who else would it have been? I know no one here, and this place is too rural for any kind of crime organization like stealing cars, and no one would steal my 7-year-old car anyway. Other commenter, maybe the car dealership put it there. OP responded, I own it. I've had it for about 7 years since I started college and paid for it in cash outright. So yeah guys, before we read the update, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because that would help me tremendously. Thanks so much. Update, so I'm still reading through the comments, thank you guys, there's really great advice I'm gonna follow. PSA, I bought my car brand new 7 years ago and paid for it in cash. I've never owned anything on it anyway. So last night I decided to suddenly pack my things and plan on making the drive at some point today back to my hometown. Roommate works during the day, but I work from home because my office is closed until at least this summer. I realized I could probably fit all of my stuff in my car, and since my lease ends in May anyway, I'm just moving out. The only furniture that's mine and not the landlord's or his is my bed, and it's old, so I think I'm just gonna leave it here. I went down to the police station early this morning and had them remove it. I don't think there's much they can do besides document it. They asked me some questions and I said I did not know, but I know no one here and I think it might be my roommate. They said it looked like a cheap one from Amazon or eBay and they will check it out. Honestly, I may just end up staying home. I miss being in a familiar place where I know basically everyone in town, and I miss my friends. Working from home for a few months might give me enough time to switch jobs. So that's all I have for now. Thank you guys. I will try to reply to people as well. And now OP's replying to a downvoted commenter on dealing with the police. I've already gone to the police, even if I had told them, yep, totally my roommate did it, I know it. I didn't, I simply strongly suggested it. That is not grounds for someone's life to be ruined. They would not even take that as fact until it was proven. Even if they found definitive proof though, I would have to go through with pressing charges. If I did press charges, then it would be a simple misdemeanor, and at that point, if he got a misdemeanor, it would be rightly justified since it was all proven. And that's if I would even bother with charges in the first place, and all of these minor things compared to if he was an insane loose cannon that could kill or hurt me if I just did not mention his name. It is ignorant to not piece together the clues and be safe rather than sorry, instead of just saying, nope, I have no clue. Because I do have a clue, and I know it is him, I plan on asking him later today after my 8-hour drive home, so I'm interested in hearing what he has to say. And now we got another update to the story, and it goes like this. Update since I think it'll be lost in the comments if anyone is curious. I already mentioned I went to the police and home. Well, it's all settled now. I ended up asking my roommate about it via phone, and he admitted to it. Got freaked out when I said I gave it to the cops. Said he was concerned for my safety when I would go places by myself after work. Yeah, okay, we got into a scuffle about it. He finally snapped though and said that he knew I was seeing someone when I was hooking up with him. I wasn't, by the way, so yeah, my first experience with crazy and hopefully my last. And yeah guys, I'm so glad for OP that this relationship ended and that she got out of there safe and sound. Super scary. Either way, the next one is titled Texas, I, 23 female, had intercourse with a 17-year-old. And no, don't shut off the video, my editing software just cuts off the text there. There's more in the title. The rest of the title is, he told me he was 19, he took a video of us having intercourse without my consent and is now threatening to share it. What can I do? So, we met on Tinder in December and started seeing each other in January. We have slept together a handful of times. I decided it would be best to stop seeing each other around the start of last month when they started telling people to stay away from each other. At first he was really understanding, but over the past couple of weeks he's been pushing to see me more. I kept trying to make plans to see him once everything has calmed down, but he's been insisting on coming over to my place despite everything. Yesterday, I finally put my foot down and let him know that we would not be meeting now or later since I did not like how pushy he was being. He called me and we got into it because I would not let him come over. Once we hung up, he snapped me a video of us having intercourse in his damn car. I don't even know when he took it. It is dark, so you cannot really see me, but it's clearly my voice. On the video, he wrote that I would either let him come over or he would send the video to my boss and tell his mom because he is 17. I told him I was out of town because my sister had her baby, which is true, but he could come over when I got back. I was afraid if I told him no straight up, that he would send the video. I did not know he was 17, I never would have slept with him if I knew. I got screenshots of his Tinder profile where his age is clearly listed as 19. I don't have a Facebook, so we were never friends on there, but I do have his Insta and SC, and nothing on those indicate that he is 17. I keep thinking back over all of our interactions, but even in text messages he doesn't say anything to indicate he was in high school. He told me he went to a local community college and he talks about college classes and getting off of his job at HEB. Anyways, it's not like we had long conversations. Our relationship consisted of having intercourse and maybe getting dinner beforehand. Please help me, I've been freaking out about this for several hours. I work with kids right now and I'm in school to be a school social worker. I cannot have this on my record. I know I should probably go to the cops, but how can I do that and make sure nothing comes out of this? And yeah guys, let me know what you think about this story in the comments. And now let's read a comment from Reddit. The age of consent is 17 in Texas. The intercourse was legal, the video is not. He is violating child PO laws. As long as you don't have or distribute a copy of the video, you're not breaking any laws. OP then said, do you think going straight to the cops would work or should I get a lawyer involved? I wanna tell someone what he's doing, if only so that he won't try to do it to someone else. His mother should definitely be made aware of this, but I don't know where he lives, so I cannot just go tell her myself, assuming he even lives with her. Plus, I'm afraid that if I don't say anything, he will email the video to my boss, who will probably fire me because he's under 18, since I work with at-risk youth. I'm really worried about what he could do to my name and my career. Thank you so much for your help. Commenter number 2, look, you need to take a lot of deep breaths and hire a lawyer. I would recommend somebody who has a practice that specializes in defamation because you have not committed a crime. Ironically, he has committed at least 3: manufacturing of illegal child videos, revenge PORN, and extortion. But as you point out, for whatever reason, this person is trying to screw your future career, which, deep breath, probably won't happen. Nonetheless, you need to consult a professional who can really put the screws to him and get the video deleted and an injunction of some sort. The law is very much on your side here, but I would highly recommend going on the offensive here with the assistance of an attorney. Comment number 3, as others have mentioned, he's the one committing criminal acts here. I would suggest going straight to the cops on this, the sooner the better. Texas is not currently on a statewide lockdown, so you might have a chance to get them to follow up with warrants on the guy's devices. Don't delete any conversation you've had with him. Texas recently passed HB 2974, which is geared directly towards intercourse extortion, which this would count as. The police should take this very seriously. Update to the story. Long story short, following everyone's advice, I reached out to an attorney who advised me to begin compiling records of my communication with him and to record any communication we had going forward. She told me to avoid reaching out to him, but to be prepared if he reached out to me. I downloaded a call recording app and started backing up my screenshots of our texts and messages. He did unmatch me on Tinder, so thank you to everyone that warned me our conversations would go away. He didn't say so, but I think he may have seen my Reddit post. I only say that because I know it made the front page, and last night he called out of the blue to apologize and asked me to not call the cops. So either he saw it or he had a come to Jesus moment. He told me that he is 19 and that he only said he was 17 to scare me since I was being a bitch and wouldn't let him come over. When I told him to prove his age or I would call the cops, he texted me a picture of his ID. He also says that it's not me on the video, but that he deleted it anyway. I'm not sure if this is the truth, but I've got a recorded confession, so that's something. I have not spoken to the attorney since he called me, but I did email her with a transcript and recording of our conversation. We got a meeting scheduled for tomorrow. I'm still going to be seeking legal action. I'm just not sure what action since his ID does say he's 19. In that case, there was no illegal videos, although I know there's still a case for intercourse extortion. I don't think it would be wise for me to continue updating the situation on Reddit if he's here too, so this will probably be the last thing I say about it. Thanks to everyone that has messaged me to be supportive, I really appreciate it. I cannot respond to everyone because between PMs and chats, I'm sitting on 300+ messages about that post. Funnily enough, a nice chunk of them are from men calling me a PEDO, saying they hope I get assaulted since I'm such a SLUT, trying to figure out where I am in Texas so we can hook up. And damn guys, Reddit is really sending their best. I feel so bad for OP for these terrible messages. Anyway, this man tried to coerce me into having intercourse with him via blackmail, and I'm the one getting blamed because I had intercourse with someone I believed was an adult. From this point on, I'll be only seeing men my age or older and IDing everyone. According to the attorney, the fact that he looked old enough was not an excuse. This might sound dramatic, but for most of yesterday, I really thought my life was over. Never again. And now let's move on to the next story. It starts like this. So, not my own malicious compliance, but overheard then witnessed at work. A few months ago, the 2 owners at my work had a huge disagreement which has escalated to full-blown screaming matches in the middle of the office and nearly into several physical fights. It came to a head last Friday and owner A decided to pack it all in and leave effective immediately. After lunch, owner B called the warehouse manager up to the office and pointed at owner A's office, situated just off the main open plan office, and said, "I'm too stressed to deal with this, so I'm going home. Bin everything in that room. I don't want to see a shred of evidence that owner A worked here when I get back on Monday morning." The warehouse manager looked at the offending office and back to owner B. "Are you sure you want to bin everything, boss?" Owner B looked ready to explode already, and apparently this extra bit of clarification sent him over the edge. "Did I stutter? Get rid of everything in there, or you can clear out your desk too." And so owner B stormed off and our warehouse manager took out his walkie-talkie and summoned up 2 of his warehouse staff and then relayed the instructions. The warehouse workers questioned it and got the same answer. Yes, absolutely everything, and so they got to work. Owner A's personal effects were put into a box and sealed up to be taken to him by one of the purchasing staff who lived nearby. Everything else was bagged up and put into the bins. The paperwork and stationery were boxed up to be shredded and destroyed. Next, the monitor and printer were taken to the bins, followed by the desk and chair. When I left at 4 p.m, the warehouse workers were just starting to take down the wall-mounted bookshelves. I would have expected them to stop there, but when I got in this morning, there was nothing left in the office. The curtains and blinds are gone, plug sockets and light fittings taken off the walls, leaving exposed wires, the tiles removed from the ceiling showing the ductwork and wiring above. The carpet that owner A requested to be put in was torn up, leaving the underlay. Even the door with owner A's name plaque on it was taken off the hinges. It looks like a construction site in there. Owner B came in at 10 this morning, took one look at the bomb site and started screaming his head off and demanded to see the warehouse manager. He wanted whoever did this to put this right and then get off site as they were fired. If no one owned up, then the whole warehouse shift was fired. Our warehouse manager never wanted to give a crap, just peered into the office and said, "You said bin everything, boss, looks like they did," and then walked off. Owner B looked like he was gonna burst a vessel. And guys, before we end the video, let's read a story from Petty Revenge that is a little bit more light-hearted. It is titled, "PE teacher kept making fun of me because I was not athletic and I made him vomit from exhaustion in front of the whole class." So I was born with a congenital heart disease and had surgery as a kid. I'm completely okay, but sports was obviously not my thing. I was small, skinny and clumsy because I never really could do the typical outdoor stuff like most other kids. I got teased and bullied and all that, typical for a geeky kid who does not excel with a football. In high school, we had a mildly problematic PE teacher, a typical sports dude who would make fun of the slower kids. I still remember how he ordered my overweight friend to do a gymnastics jump from a trampoline over a stool, which he obviously couldn't do, and he fell so hard that he cracked his head. I found peace with myself long before and mostly did not care and just took it, but it was stupid and I hated how he always encouraged the jock culture of making fun of the nerds. We'd constantly do basketball or soccer/football, and a thing about my specific condition is I don't do explosive and reactive sports at all, so I would have to sit down every few minutes to catch my breath. You would think what's wrong with that, but I was shamed about being the weakling of the class every single week. I like sports though, a lot. I was just always told by my parents and my doctors to take it easy. And growing up I noticed I had no problem whatsoever with endurance and steady long distance efforts. As long as I don't go into a rut, I could keep it up for quite a while. So it's not a surprise I fell in love with road cycling when I first saw the Tour de France on TV. I was super skinny, I could not sprint, but I could climb a long mountain any day, pacing myself and blowing nearly anyone off my wheel on endurance. I got myself a road bike and never told anyone at school about my rides. So here comes the revenge. We had a class sports day and there was a bus arranged to take us to the top of a mountain about an hour away, where we were to go on a hike. Our PE teacher said that if anyone wants, he would cycle up there and we could join him on the climb instead of the hike. Well, I was the only one to volunteer. He was surprised and commented something to the effect of, "Keeping up and not gonna wait for you." But I insisted. He could not know that I was more than capable to climb that mountain because he only saw me struggling with sports with him. He also couldn't know that was my home hill, literally starting a kilometer from my house. I did that climb 100 plus times and knew it blind, knew my pacing, and while I was no crazy Tour de France guy, I knew I could probably drop my PE teacher at will there. For cyclists out there, the climb is 12.5 km, 6.9% gradient, super regular. For non-cyclists, a perfect climb for a lightweight rider with good pacing and stamina. So the day arrives and I did my warm-up, nutrition and everything as if it was a life or death mountaintop time trial and rock up at the school in my full racing kit and my racing bike. I was 17, weighed 55 kilograms and totally prepared. He was a typical middle-aged, overconfident ex-soccer player, probably weighing 90 kilograms, on a standard mountain bike. Super perfect condition. So he sets a relatively hard pace on the 10 kilometers flat before the climb, and I don't speak or take the front. I instead take my good time to get back on his wheel after intersections, and he probably thinks he will drop me the second we start going uphill. But then the climb starts and it becomes very apparent to me, but not to him, that he is near his limit, but that it's at least 5 km per hour slower than what I could do on that mountain. However, I don't attack him. That would not be satisfying. Instead, I start bantering how someone's getting dropped today, and it would be embarrassing if the whole class sees how I beat him, and then I take over the pace and slowly start turning the screw on him. I went only a little faster, then a bit more, and I knew after about 3 kilometers he was in the red, so I ease off, keeping him just slightly over his limit for the next half an hour. I wanted to make him suffer, but without dropping him. I let him recover for a tiny bit if he starts looking too bad, but then I would slowly push the tempo up to make it as painful to him as possible. It was Tour de France level mind games. I don't think I've ever enjoyed myself on my bike more. Anyway, we made it near the top together, and I let it rip on the last 300 meters or so, and it was that typical humiliation attack every amateur group ride cyclist knows. He dropped like a stone. I got my revenge and was very happy with myself. He said something about his heavy bike, and I kept my mouth shut. However, it got even better. On the top he was clearly dead, so much so he had to vomit in the parking lot, and even if only a few classmates saw it, everyone knew. He had to sit out the hike after, and I just quietly sat there with him, because I didn't need to do the hike like he promised, and just looked at him enjoying the sweet revenge. I did not say anything after that, nor did he. He never made any comments to me in PE class again. Lesson: don't bully your students, they might surprise you. And yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow, and don't forget to check out my playlist on the left if you cannot get enough of my content.